What is up, guys? Thanks for watching our show. We are pumped about Urban Meyer. I mean, what a day! What a day! What a day! If you're just tuning in and you're like late to the party, the Jaguars have absolutely signed Urban Meyer to be their head coach. So, some of you were over watching UCF Jaguars channel. Appreciate you guys from coming over. If not, dude, party time. Party time. I mean, this is it. Like we're gonna try not to get copy strike today. We've been getting copy strike when we've been talking about the Jags the last couple times, but today I think I did enough to skirt the system. So we are popping off tonight. We're talking about Urban Meyer, and that's it. So shout out to the people in the chat. D2 says hi, Ronaldo. Yes sir. Let's go. Zach Becker, what's good? A Duval. Come from UCF, C Breacher. That's right, dude. Hey, I loved UCF. I was in there like the entire time. I was gonna call in, but I was kind of doing some other things, and I was like, listen to some of these dudes talk. I gotta look into that call-in feature, dude, because just some of those people talking, I was just like, oh my gosh, I wouldn't be able to refrain myself from probably taking some cheap jabs, but that's the way that I am. All right, much love from Scott Wyatt. Matt, aka Hope and Pipe, says Duval. Where's your friend that used to be on your shoes? Oh, my shows, I think what you said. Yeah, I mean, I got people pop in and out. You know, people pop in and out. That's kind of how we do it. Vera's Uprising says UCF, baby. Exciting time for Jags fans. Okay, here's why I'm pumped about Urban. All right, here's why I'm pumped about Urban. Because, you know, I watched Urban. When I was, like, first getting into coaching, one of the coaches on the team that I was working for handed me a DVD, and it was Urban Meyer coaches wide receivers, and it was like I was trying to find it. It was like a little I still have it somewhere, a DVD of Urban Meyer teaching wide receiver drills, and a lot of people are saying like Urban Meyer's not an X's and O's guy. Urban Meyer, I don't know where people are getting this. Urban Meyer's not an X's and O's guy. He is absolutely an X's and O's guy. The way he teaches wide receivers is like some of the best of all time. Like the way that he knows how to approach the offensive position. Like, here's what I don't know if people are ready for, okay? Like, Urban Meyer is absolutely known for a zone read. Like, y'all realize Urban Meyer's a zone read guy. Like, he's going to run with his quarterback a lot. Are y'all ready for Trevor Lawrence to be running every 3 plays? Is Urban Meyer going to adjust his offensive play calling? Because with every quarterback that he's had, he makes the zone read, like, literally part of his game. Are you guys worried that might, jeopardize what Trevor Lawrence is? I mean, I don't know. I might thought about it. Matt, a.k.a. Hope and Pipe, says, first time I'm excited about the Jags coach. Last head coaching hire, Doug Marrone, Gus Bradley. Who the hell are they? Yeah, I know it's true. They've been bad. They've been bad. What can you say? But I think that's why everyone is so pumped for what's happening. All right. Christian Charles, let's go. Jamie Newman better than Trevor Lawrence. Okay, that's one way to look at it. I personally think Trevor Lawrence is the greatest prospect to come out of college, like, dare I say, of my lifetime. I've been watching football. I mean, I remember when Andrew Luck coming out, I was like, oh, dang, this dude's really, really good. There's no weaknesses in his game, and that's kind of the same thing I noticed about Trevor Lawrence. It's like everyone that says anything negative about Trevor Lawrence, like that I know, I look to them and I go, tell me one negative of Trevor Lawrence's game. And they look at me and they're like, the dude's like the total package. I mean, you can look at anything. His footwork in the pocket, his pocket awareness. I mean, his ability to create time without like getting sacked. His arm, he can throw on his back foot. Dude, he made so many throws. If you watch, I mean, we watched his highlights on this channel. If you've never watched this channel before, we usually show highlights and then YouTube shuts down my channel and then we come back and then one of those things. But if you watch his highlights like we've been doing, he makes a lot of throws like lazy off his back foot just because he knows he can get away with it. It's not like his mechanics, but like he knows he can probably not get hit if he throws off his back foot, and then he still makes the throws. Like that's what like blows the minds of scouts and coaches is they're like, dude, this dude's like throwing off his back foot, throwing off balance, looking off people till the very last second, things that are very risky to do, and he does it like excellent. And that's why he's like kind of been looked at. I talked to someone today who kind of works in that arena of scouting, and he said that he was talking to people who said that Trevor Lawrence would have been the #1 overall pick if he would have came out of high school. Like if he would have came straight out of high school and that rule was allowed, that he would have been the #1 overall pick. And You know, it's hard not to believe that when you watch his film. Jason Martineau says, "Hey, it's my first Jags United stream." Well, welcome, Jason. I appreciate you. We do it. We're kind of laid back around here, if you can't tell. Matt says he's willing to existent. Ben Hayoni says, "I think Urban will be smart enough to not make Lawrence run on every play." I think you're right. He definitely is, but I think he's going to try to use that. Like, I honestly think Lawrence is going to be running a lot. I mean, we saw UCF Jaguar. Let's go after party. We saw that he ran a lot, like when he got in trouble. His receivers weren't getting open. His line wasn't buying him time. And what did Trevor Lawrence do? He started running, and it wasn't even the worst thing in the world. It was just like not what you'd prefer him to do. UCF Jaguar, but you got to go to work tomorrow, dude. What are you doing, dude? We all know you're going to be hurting tomorrow if you don't go to bed, man. Some of us don't have to go until a little bit later, so that's the good news. Free my boy, F YouTube, free my boy. Yeah, dude, we get shut down a lot by YouTube around here, but apparently there's no limit. Like, people tell me there's a limit, they'll shut your channel down, but hey, I mean, we're still rolling. Scott Wyatt says, "Now if we can just get Fred Durst in the chat." It would not surprise. That would be like the least surprising thing that happened tonight if Fred Durst showed up in the chat. Moon Illusion says, "Today is a great day, boys." Moon, I'm glad that you're here, Moon Illusions. Today is a great day. Like, I had a weird day at work, and I was like kind of bummed. And then the news came out, and I was like, you know what? It doesn't matter. Life is good. My friends are texting me because they know that I get season tickets every year. My friends that don't ever get season tickets are texting me like, "Dude, I got season tickets this year. I can't," like, dude, it was instant. Like, instantly electricity. Today is a great day. Today's a great day. Will Urban put Chazon back into the correct position? Will we see improvements in his second year? I don't know. I mean, there's rumors of him bringing in Charlie Strong, right? I don't know what capacity he brings Charlie Strong in as. Thinking back to Charlie Strong's defense, I mean, the dude was your standard 4-3. He liked his big D linemen. He liked linebackers that could cover and drop and play the run. And he had a lot of success with it. I think he had more success as a coordinator, actually, than he did ever as a head coach. And I don't see Chazon traditionally in a Charlie Strong defense. Doesn't mean that he won't adapt. And Chazon may put on weight this year. I mean, Josh Allen gained a bunch of weight from year 1 to year 2, so I'm not willing to give up on him just quite yet. Junior Jags Press says, "What's up, Jags United?" What's up? Ben says, "UCF Jaguar don't need to work tomorrow. Dude made like $800 tonight." Yeah, you know what? You're right, Ben. Screw him, dude. He doesn't need crying about work. You're right, bro. I didn't see that point of view until just now. Ronaldo, Fred is here. Man, one day. Justin, y'all listen to Bold Take. I like Bold Take. I like those guys. Christian Charles, "Wish I was in Jacksonville to get season tickets." Yeah, I mean, they're not like absorbently expensive. I mean, if you work, in my opinion, Matt says, "News couldn't come out better today with the failure of Lot J not passing city council." See, I'm okay with talking about Lot J. A lot of people, like, I listen to a lot of local radio, watch a lot of YouTube channels. People like don't like talking about Lot J. Like, they don't want to get political when, like, well, come on. I mean, like, why not? Like, really, this is your argument, right? You had Lot J, huge project. The city was gonna be on the hook for like over 400, like a million, like a lot of money. The Jaguars were like unwilling to meet Jacksonville halfway in the middle. I got a buddy who's like a civil engineer and is like really involved in like that type of thing, and he told me that that Jacksonville was getting screwed by the Jags, and I'm surprised it didn't pass. I would have spent the money to make Jacksonville more viable, but at the same time, I don't think that make or breaks it. I mean, there's so many opportunities to spend money. I mean, I'm just glad that the renovation of downtown and the stadium has been brought to the forefront. I mean, if there was a city councilman that came up to you and was like, "Hey, we need to spend this millions, hundreds of millions of dollars into the education system and make the schools better," like, how do you like turn that down? You know what I'm saying? But I think now that it's to the forefront, and now that we're like, I think the Jags will meet us halfway there. So that's my opinion on it, and I don't think it's at the end of that saga. Joanna Burke says, "Do you think he will keep Keenan?" I don't think so. I love Keenan. I love a couple guys on this coaching staff, but I kind of want Urban just to clean house. Like, I don't want any coach that was here last year, not because they're not good, just because I would just want to like wipe the place clean. I want to like sanitize the locker room. All new coaches. I don't want one of these young football players having Urban Meyer's new philosophy, but then like his old assistant coach who did things a different way. Like, I don't want any ties. It's nothing against those people. It's nothing against those coaches. It's just when you're starting over, start over. And love Keenan, but that's just what it is. We definitely need some beefy boys on offense. I don't want to see Lawrence get hurt. Yeah, I've definitely come around to that more. Like, you got to bolster that offensive line. There's some good linemen coming out in the free agency. I think they could draft a guard maybe in the second round, and I think they could maybe sign a free agent, and now you've fixed at least one side of your line. So, yeah, got to protect Lawrence 100% sure. Zach Becker, all I hear is some position coaches and Charlie Strong. I just want to know who the DC is. If Urban gets us winning, will it keep the Jags here? I think the Jags stay here regardless. I mean, the Jaguars have had one of the worst decades of any sports team, and they're still here. So, yeah, I think we're fine. Josh, should Jags fans be excited that Charlie Strong is joining as well? Yeah, I think so too. I mean, yeah, it's obviously no secret he didn't have success as a head coach. I think people kind of thought he would be a better recruiter than he was, when really his value is in the game plan, the X's and O's. I think people thought, and actually know some scouts that kind of recruit the same area, this down south area, that said that Charlie Strong wasn't a great recruiter and that great coach, but he got a lot of hype as a recruiter when in reality he'd go into homes and he'd always lose out on kids. So I wouldn't hold that against him in the NFL. I mean, if you can coach, you can coach. Moon Illusions will breathe a breath of fresh air when Wash walked out the door. Well, there's 0% chance Wash will ever step foot into this stadium ever again. Too bad we missed out on Terry Fontenot is going to be good GM for the Falcons. Maybe. I don't know. It's hard to know GMs. I think Urban's our GM. So all this talk about who the GM you want, what GM you want to bring in, I don't think it matters. I think that Urban is the GM. What people don't realize about the GM position in the NFL is there's a lot of like day-to-day transactions. Like, if you ever check like the transaction logs for like NFL rosters, there's like 5 moves every day of players like bouncing from practice squad to practice squad and like, picking guys up for like the week or two. And like that happens a lot. And Urban Meyer doesn't want to be dealing with that, or, he wants to just be making the big decisions, be the overseer. You got to have a GM that looks at the books and looks at the practice squad numbers and all that. Urban's not going to do that. So, I mean, that's what your GM's going to do. And you don't necessarily have to be like, gifted to do that, I guess, is the good news for us. Charlie Strong not coming. He's going back to Florida. The Jets look good now with Saleh and LaFleur. Yeah. Here's the thing with Saleh is I've seen a hype D coordinator before. I've seen a hype D coordinator that interviews well before. His name was Gus Bradley. I hope he's not Gus Bradley, but he reminds me a lot of Gus Bradley. Maybe it's just coincidence. Where do you think Doug Marrone will end up? Look, I think Doug Marrone has a lot of value as a offensive quality control guy. The players like him. He's down to earth. He probably does a good job of breaking down film, if I had to guess. I think he's going to have value somewhere, obviously. Is there a team that is specifically looking for his skill set? I don't know. So I think it'd be hard to predict, but he'll be somewhere. I mean, he might take a year off and then get back into it. I mean, that's what I would do. Jacob McDonald, yo, what's up, Jake? I'm glad you're here. Shout out to the man, for sure. Snogging drinks over here, just don't mind me. All right, I want to know our GM. Yeah, I mean, I do too, but at the end of the day, you can only control what you can control, and Urban Meyer is going to have the final say on pretty much everything now. I mean, you don't bring a dude onto your yacht and give – think about that. Shad Khan's yacht is worth, what, $100 million? I don't know if those of you that are not from Jacksonville, I can't even begin to describe to you what Shad Khan's yacht looks like. Like, when it pulls in to the port, or it pulls into the Jacksonville, like downtown or whatever, like, it stands out. It looks like the most expensive thing around. Like, there's buildings that don't even look that nice. That thing is nice. When you bring Urban Meyer onto that thing and you're like, hey, come to the yacht, we're having an interview, you don't not let him make every decision. Thought he was British. I don't know. Sorry. Jacob McDonald said, what's up, bro? Appreciate the content. Love it. January here in New Zealand. Same as you guys. LOL. YouTube falls off a cliff in January, so I appreciate it. Jacob, I got to ask you a question. I have a buddy who moved out to New Zealand, and he came back a year later, and he had a New Zealand accent. Was he pulling our leg, or can that really happen? I'll defer to you on that. Jason Martineau, should the Jags pursue Joe Thuney? I think the Jags are going to throw the bag at a lot of different players. And I think he would – I don't know. Sometimes I like to address that in the draft, especially the second round, but I think they're going to put a lot of feelers out. Look, Urban Meyer's been watching the NFL. It's not like he's just been zoned out. He's been working and doing all these things, so for sure going to be good. Moon Illusions, how long are you streaming for? I don't know, Moon. If I wouldn't have just spilled my drink on my mouse pad, I would be much more thrilled about going a long time, but I'm getting kind of worried because it's lights up and all that stuff. Jacob McDonald, could you sprint the length of the yacht in under 20 seconds? Oof. What would make it hard to sprint from one side to the yacht to the other would be the obvious obstacles of like rooms and doors. If it were a straight shot, I could do it, but given the obstacles and things I would have to go around, I don't think so. I don't think there's any chance that I get from one side to the other. Zach Becker, I'm living in Tampa, working the Super Bowl, but would honestly rather live in Jags for season tickets next year. Tampa's a good – I like Tampa. Tampa's close to a lot of good stuff. You're not far from Orlando. You can get down to Miami if you need to. I personally like the west coast of Florida. But, yeah, Jacksonville Beach is a little bit better. I'm listening a year later with a New Zealand accent. LOL depends on his age. He was like 23. Matt Patricia as DC. I don't think it really matters who the D coordinator is. I don't think this defense is going to be good. They're going to have some pieces, but it's going to be impossible to fix the secondary in 1 year. It's going to be absolutely impossible unless you just get a tremendous improvement in play from one of these rookies or first-year players. The secondary is pretty thin. I like obviously Henderson. Outside of that, you're pretty much gonna have to replace all three of those spots. Even your nickel is kind of up in the air this year, depending on what happens with Hayden. So, yeah. Jacob McDowell, what are those jerseys in the background, man? LOL. All right. If you watch our channel, we talk about the jerseys all the time. I lost a bet for one of them. Childhood hero. So today. I got to have Urban Meyer today. I want to get off on tangents. That's what I do, but I'm not doing it today. Moon Illusions. We'll all make sure to be there for the media presser tomorrow. Yeah, there you go. Popping in from Denver just for a Duval. What up, Jay Gordon? I love Denver. I went out there for the Jags game when Minshew had that last-minute drive where he threw it to Raquel Armstead in the back of the end zone. Love Denver. It was amazing. I did a silent disco. There's a lot of homeless people. Love it. Brett E., what do you think about the Jags going after Zach Ertz? I like Zach Ertz. Who doesn't like Zach Ertz? He's probably going to demand tremendous money. I personally would like to see a Hunter Henry signing here. I'm just a Hunter Henry guy. I know he's injury prone. I would like to see. I think that would work. Blocks well, releases well, and gets open. And that's really what I like to do. Puzzluzny as defense coordinator says Plano Jag. That doesn't matter to me, man. You can take your defense. Do whatever you want. I don't care. A year to change the U.S. to New Zealand. Nah, man, he's joking. He wasn't joking, though. He legit was trying to pass off. Like his entire diction had changed after living in New Zealand for a year. So I'm glad that you confirmed what we all thought. I love Nixon for the interior and then Cisco at safety. Yeah, it depends on what you want to do at defensive back. You can go a couple different routes. You can go old and veteran, play more zone. You can go young and man and just kind of try to get there with the pass rush. I don't know. Depends on what they want to do. Eddie Clutch says, yo, what's up? Christian Charles says, goat Reddick. Yeah, I just have an entire puddle of liquid sitting on my mouse pad right now. And when you're partying for Urban Meyer, you're not going anywhere. So shout out to the puddle of liquid on my mouse pad here. Jacob McDonald, sorry about the tangents, mate. Enough of that. I can't help it. I go off on tangents. Plano Jags, there's a Bono's Barbecue in South Denver. Okay. Nice. I walked through the entire city of Denver after the Jags game. The Uber was like $80. I was like, I'm not Ubering to my hotel for $80. Walked through the entire city of Denver. Learned a lot about Denver and myself on that 2-hour walk. Moon Illusions, Ertz is washed. Give me Everett or Jonnu. Jonnu really fell off, though, at the end of the year. he was getting targets and he wasn't getting production, and that kind of worries me when I'm evaluating a player. I liked Jonnu Smith. I really did. I like how he blocks really well, and I know that is like a huge factor in his game. But he's been injured. Wasn't getting production. Matt, a.k.a. Hops and Pipes, says, do you think Pitts will drop out of the top 10? No. 0% chance, unless he gets injured or there's just nothing that he can do. I mean, watching his film is mind-blowing. I wasn't even a Pitts believer at the beginning of the year because I had watched a lot of Florida games, and he never was like, oh, he's a top 10 guy. And people were saying that. And then you watched him this season, and you were like, he is a top 10 guy. And he absolutely is. Justin Cohn, I won a contest when I was in school, and Maurice Jones-Drew picked me up from my house in a limo and took me to school. You S.O.B., Justin Cohn. That sounds awesome. I love Maurice Jones-Drew. Is he up there? He is up there. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can. Okay. Yeah, he's up there. He's up there for sure. All right. That is an awesome story. We should watch an Urban Moon. You just want me to get Moon wants to watch an Urban interview. I think he just wants me to get copy striked. I think he just likes it when the channel randomly turns off. Brett E says, I like Hunter Henry too, but the injuries really worry me. Yeah, I know. We need a reliable tight end. I think Ertz could help. Also develop a draft pick. Yeah, no, you're right. That's fair. That's probably where I would go if I were Urban, but I don't know what he was going to do. Zach Becker, what's your opinion on Chazon's tweet about a 3-4? I didn't see it unless it was recent. But I don't think that's going to solve Chazon's problem, to be honest with you. If I'm being completely honest with you, I don't think he has a problem. I think he's okay. I mean, we even saw his numbers and got way better at the end of the year. His PFF grade was like gradually increasing in the back 8 games of the year. People just need to relax, man. He's young. He's a little undersized. It takes people like that a little bit more time to adjust to the NFL game with weight and size and speed and strength. Just give it some time, dude. Like, let's chill. Like, not everyone's a one-hit wonder like in their first year coming out. Christian might have to make the trip to Jacksonville for the home opener. Hey, man, let's do it. I haven't figured out which away game I'm going to go to yet this year. I kind of want to go to an AFC South game because I haven't gone to an AFC South game in a couple years. So I might want to maybe get out to Houston, maybe go up to Tennessee. I'm not sure yet. Could always go for Hunter Henry. Yep. Jags were trending on Twitter today. That's what we get to look forward to with Trevor Lawrence. We don't have Trevor Lawrence yet. He says we're relevant. We don't even have Trevor Lawrence yet, and we're like relevant. It's crazy, dude. People love talking about the Jags. We're so polarizing. People either love to hate us or they love to love us. You know, it's not like nowhere in the middle. So glad that he will be on our side. YouTube doesn't play when you put up those highlights. No, I know, dude. Seriously, they don't. They don't play at all. Won't get copyright claimed on such a recent interview. Yeah, right, Jake McDonald. You don't know YouTube. They have their tingly prongs everywhere. Don't at me. It's just my thoughts. I wish Jacksonville was the team that brought in AB. The Jags weren't trying to win, so that last year. This year, who knows what they'll do. Christian, I'm in Dallas, so I might start going to the Houston game from now on. Yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot of, I think, is it NRG Stadium? I've heard a lot about that stadium. It's pretty nice. I would love to go to that stadium. Matt says season ticket holder since the inaugural season. Shout out to you, Matt. Most excitement since 2017 playoffs. People don't realize how like rare it is to have a season ticket holder since the inaugural season. Like I live in Jacksonville. I'm born and raised. I'm a Jacksonville person. I have season tickets myself. Find someone that like for every year renewed their season tickets. That's a very rare breed of person. So shout out to inaugural people. There's been a lot of downs as a Jags fan. If you've hung in there as a season ticket holder since the beginning, I have nothing but respect for you. AB might be a locker room cancer. Not a fan of Antonio Brown. Got a couple people in Dallas, according to Plano Jag. He's probably in Plano, Texas. AB is the man and just passed halfway through his NFL career. Anyone think different? Yeah, I mean, I could leave him. Take him or leave him. Blake says trade up for Pitts and sign A-Rob. Dude, now you're talking my language. Like, that's the crap I would do, right? You would find a way to trade up. I mean, how high would you have to trade up to get Pitts, though? I mean, what did Hawkinson go? Like 7 or 8, whatever Hawkinson went, and Pitts is probably a lot better than Hawkinson. So if you're a scout that evaluated both players and it's not that long ago, then where is he on your board, right? If Detroit had Hawkinson that high on their board, where do they have Pitts? You know, I think a lot of teams will reach for him only because he resembles a wide receiver as much as he does a tight end. Christian Charles says lifelong fan too. Me too. I was born in '89, so I've literally grown up with only the Jags. Chris Godwin and free agent signed the man. I don't know why I'm not huge on Chris Godwin. I have no reason for it. I have no explanation. I'm probably an idiot, but I just am not excited about Chris Godwin for some reason. And it's not like I don't watch football. I just, for some reason, can't get excited about him. And I know I'm dumb, and I know you guys are going to tell me I'm dumb. It's what you always do when I say stuff like this, but I just don't get excited about him. I feel like there's a lot other players that you could bring in that run crisp routes and, aren't one-trick ponies, playing to the outside on corners and, things like that. I don't know. Whatever. I mean, I understand beggars can't be choosers, but I don't get excited about him. I don't get excited. Predator said, Christian Charles, I remember watching that game with my dad, who's a Cowboys fan. Very depressing. I'm sorry you were in the stadium seeing that happen. My dad was actually also a Cowboys fan, but he lived here before the Jags, so he chose the Cowboys for some reason. Middleburg in the house, said Justin Cone. The thing about Middleburg is everyone in Middleburg knows each other. So, you can't talk to one person in Middleburg without everyone in Middleburg knowing that it's happening. So that part of Middleburg is a little frustrating at times. My Chevy truck says, sign Charles Harris and Taco Charlton, trade for Grady Jarrett, sign Desmond King, draft Nixon or Barmore, draft weapons for Lawrence or Fields. That seems like the way that a lot of people would go. Get the D-line bolstered, get a corner, get a D-line, a drafted D-lineman, and get some weapons. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's where you would go. But you got to think, after your first-round pick, I mean, once you get to the third round, you're getting dicey. I know third rounders should contribute, but it's dicey. I mean, it's hit or miss. I mean, remember who we took in the third round when we took Josh Oliver and it was Quincy Williams? I mean, it's a horrible third-round draft. So, first and second, yeah. But that's only 4 picks for us, which is a lot, but it's only 4 positions that we can seriously address in the draft. Al Cajones said, I delivered some appliances to a customer that game against Dallas, and he tipped me a signed Fred Taylor and Mark Brunell framed poster. It was signed by both of them. Nice. I have a lot of Jags signed gear, and I love it. Matt says, can't wait to see Lawrence throw 40-yard bombs at DJ Chark. Yeah, no, I know. I can't wait either. Junior Jags Press says, we don't need a wide receiver in free agency. Hope we sign Cole to get Waddle, keep Cole. You would probably be fine if you did that, but why not just upgrade? I mean, it's not like we're trying to have a salary cap management thought process. Let's break the bank. Let's get better everywhere. Philip Butcher says, what up, United? What's up, Philip? Glad you're here. We're not getting copy strike tonight, boys. That's all I can say. How good did Sidney Jones play toward the end of the year? Sidney Jones actually played really well in the middle of the year. The beginning of the year, he was pretty good. And the end of the year, I thought was not his greatest play. Can't blame him. No one was playing good. No one. Literally no one. Those games were embarrassing as NFL games. Justin Eukenhofer says, we need to address O-line with the second pick in the first round or go D-tackle. Yeah, I'm going to say O-line. But again, that's risky. A second, I mean, if you're let's say the Rams end up with the 29th pick, okay? So if the Rams picking 29, that's the 29th best player. You're going to reach for a lineman. So you're maybe looking at a second round talent lineman. So now that's who's protecting him. Doesn't make me super comfortable. I would rather go out and get a guard that shows he could play before and maybe get a guard or a tackle later in the draft that we think has upside potential. But rolling the dice on young linemen is very risky. It's the position with probably the greatest learning curve of any position in football. A lot of people will tell you quarterback. And I don't think it is. I think it's tackle, guard, center. The speed and size and strength of these D linemen going from college to the NFL is crazy. And when you're an offensive lineman used to blocking the same Big Ten dude that has the same move every game, and you go up against a J.J. Watt, it's a huge adjustment. So I tend to lean toward free agency when it comes to upgrading the offensive line, but wouldn't be against it. Philip Butcher says, nah, man, the D gave up toward the end of the season. Yeah, everyone did, besides James Robinson. We also need to get a solid compliment running back to Robinson. Yeah, I agree. I mean, we had a weak attempt this year, right? I mean, we didn't even play. Chris Thompson didn't even play. Hit on rounds 1 through 3. Trade the picks for vets and solid depth. Yeah, well, if we get hit on rounds 1 through 3, I think everyone would be happy about that. As a fan only coming into the league in the last 3 years, wondering what your thoughts were when you first drafted Fournette, and what are your thoughts on him over time at Jacksonville. I actually liked Leonard Fournette. That draft, I remember Leonard Fournette was like the no-brain answer. Everyone would have picked Fournette if they were picking that pick. There was a small group of people that would argue that Dalvin Cook was actually a better running back coming out. I did hear that. Heard some pretty convincing arguments that Dalvin Cook was going to be better as a player. But remember, Fournette was the number 1 player in the country coming out of high school. Like, he was number 1. Every school wanted him. He went to LSU. He dominated at LSU. So everything pointed to the fact that Fournette was just going to continue to dominate like he did. Like, he looked a lot like Derrick Henry. Now, Derrick Henry is like a little bit better and a little bit stronger, a little bit faster. But the way people viewed Derrick Henry coming out was the same way people viewed Fournette. So that's just how it was viewed. It wasn't bad. I wish him the best. He was a funny guy. It wasn't his fault he was overdrafted. I don't think he ever gave up on the team. So I guess that's my little tangent on Leonard Fournette. Christian Charles says, sign Trent Williams. I would love to sign Trent Williams. There always seems to be issues with his contract negotiations, so Urban probably doesn't play around with that. If Urban doesn't work out, at what point do the Jags fans turn on him? Okay, it's an interesting question. I'm not going to bite too much, but I would say if he's 1-5, I still don't think they turn on him. Like, I think this fan base gives Urban an entire year of free pass. So no matter what happens, they win 1 game this year. I think Jags fans are like, we're fine. He's getting older. We still have a bunch of cap room. We're gonna get better. I don't think fans will care. I don't think it'll get there. I mean, I have a lot of faith in Urban Meyer. I'm a huge fan of his. My Chevy truck says, okay, would take our Rams pick and maybe a 4th and dangle it in front of the Falcons for Jake Matthews. Yeah, Jake Matthews was a guy that I think a lot of people liked out of college. I don't know if the Falcons make that trade, but if they did, I think that would. I mean, is that? Yeah, I don't know, man. I would almost that first round pick is pretty valuable, but I understand what you're saying, though. I definitely do. Predator says thoughts on Chris Claybrooks. I'll be honest. Whenever the cornerback injuries hit us hard, I hated him. Kept getting burnt, but had great special teams plays. Later on in the season, he wasn't even getting thrown his way. Yeah, Claybrooks is a guy that you'll probably keep around for special teams reasons and this cheap contract. Speed, obviously, is pretty cool, but those guys, unless they can show, I don't know. I don't know. I can see him surviving for a while, but I don't think he has enough talent as a pure defensive back. I'm trying to think back to when I broke down the film of him. I want to say he played too high. Like, I think that was his issue. Is just he was big and he was fast and strong, but he wasn't very I don't know. He wasn't very flexible. He couldn't dip his hips, and he played super upright, and that's will get you killed in the NFL. Like, absolutely killed if you play upright at all. I think that's his issue. I don't think he comes out of his back pedal incredibly quick like you would want from a starter, but he could improve. I mean, he's young. I mean, I'm judging a guy in his first year in the league. I can't really hold too much against him. Jacob McDonald said Christian McCaffrey went 4. Yeah, Christian McCaffrey and Alvin Kamara are both guys that always try to debunk that running back argument, and they do, but I feel like that they are also receivers, so they're kind of a hybrid position. I wouldn't quite classify them as just running backs. Justin Cohn, Earl Thomas to Jacksonville. Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense to me, but he will have his pick because I don't think he'll be on an incredibly expensive deal next year. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what to think about Earl Thomas. I haven't really followed his contract and things like that recently. If the Jaguars win the Super Bowl, who would be the 3 people featured on their America's Game episode? Wow. That's it would probably be Urban, Trevor, and Khan, right? Doesn't have to be. Aren't those the 3? Khan is I don't know if any of you guys have ever like read Shad Khan's like Wikipedia. Do it sometime. Do it. Like it'll blow your mind. Like read about that he had this. He worked for a bumper company and then he quit and started his own bumper company, and then his old bumper company sued him, and then he studied the law and defended himself in court and countersued the old company and ended up taking the old company, and now he's worth like billions. He's got a crazy story. Check out Shad Khan's story. The dude literally defended himself in court by studying law books. Like, crazy. Christian Charles wish Ramsey was still here, but there's no chance they get Trevor if he was on this roster. Yeah, you're right. Jalen Ramsey's been playing out of his mind lately, so he's a good corner. I mean, it's a good corner too. Sermon looked good at Ohio State. If we could grab him in the third, we could have Chubb Hunt situation down the line. Yeah. I mean, is he coming out? I don't know. I didn't keep up with him. I really don't keep up with college that much, to be honest with you guys. I watch the Gators, but I don't really follow it like I do the NFL. Josh Burns says Tony Baselli versus Fred Taylor, Hall of Fame. Who's your pick? Fred Taylor. I love Tony Baselli. I know him personally. Very nice guy. I coached his kids. But Fred Taylor literally got me into football. Fred Taylor was the person who like introduced me to Jacksonville Jaguars. Like I was getting to the age where I was really starting to buy in, and Fred Taylor was like my hero. Dude, the dude you couldn't tackle the guy. Like there's another thing to go watch. Look up Shad Khan's Wikipedia. Watch Fred Taylor highlights if you haven't seen them. The dude was Shady McCoy before Shady McCoy. So loved Fred Taylor. Plano Jags says Fred Taylor. Ben Hone says, I think Urban, Trevor, and Miles Jack would be on the episodes. You know he's going to mention the 17 AFC Championship game. Miles Jack, it's no secret that he played outstanding last year. Miles Jack is a G. Love his game. I'm actually in the minority where I don't think I think if we put him back at middle linebacker, he could do it. I just think there was some things that went the wrong way that he had a bad year, but he's a really, really good linebacker. Like he can play anywhere. A lot of times when he's lined up in nickel packages, he's lined up in the middle of the field anyways. So I mean, I know he's not anticipating run like he would in a base package, but he still plays in the middle of the field between the hashes and still responsible for like reading the guards and which way they're pulling at the snap. And I mean, that's all stuff middle linebackers do. He tackles as good as any linebacker on the team. Like I think if he had a decent backer to play alongside of him, Miles Jack could play any position. Mike, Will, Sam. But when he was trying to do too much because he had no talent here. That was before Schobert, obviously. So he was literally trying to do it all. Miles Jack's a beast. Miles Jack's a beast. That's all I can say. Philip Butcher says Baselli is a good announcer too. Yeah, he is. For sure. Matt says, I still think we need some NFL experienced guys on coaching staff. Any concern that Urban will add too many college guys to the staff? I don't have that concern because, I mean, I think like most people that the NFL and the pros is kind of becoming a lot closer than it used to be. I mean, just look at what happened last 2 years ago with Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray. I mean, those are two prototypical college offensive guys, and they're kind of like taking the league by storm almost. Same with Lamar Jackson. So I'm not worried. I think coaches can coach. I'm usually the last one to blame coaches for issues. I'm the last one to blame Todd Wash. Look at what he's got to coach with. I know people hate Todd Wash, and I'm not going to sit here and defend Todd Wash because that's literally suicide, especially with you Jags fans. But Todd Wash was the same guy that was the coach of the 2017 defense. You're like, well, he had good players. Well, yeah. Well, this year he had bad players, so the same argument could be used both ways. Don't want him back. Don't get me wrong, but I think he'll land on his feet somewhere else, and people will be like, "Oh, okay." Remember Jed Fish? Jed Fish was horrible here, horrible offensive coordinator. Then he goes up to become the quarterback coach in Michigan, and ends up, going. He's had a pretty good career as a coordinator after that. Sometimes if you don't have good players, there's nothing you can do about it. Sorry. There's another tangent there. Fred Taylor was everything we always wanted in a running back. I'm thrilled that we have Robinson now, but Taylor was incredible. Yeah, I do love Fred Taylor. Fred Taylor was awesome. Greg Jones. If any of the OGs remember Greg Jones, gangster. Philip Butcher says they used to call him Fragile Fred, but I hate that. The guy I have on this show a lot, Joey, when we do like our live podcasts, like we used to do a bunch of, he like would defend to his death that the Fragile Fred moniker was like invalid and incorrect. I gotta have him on here. Check out one of our shows, and we talk about it every week. But I always say, "Oh, he was fragile," just kind of mess with him because I know that it will make him mad. I was at the 63-7 beatdown against Miami that sent Marino into retirement. That's so awesome. I remember watching that game. Specifically, remember that backwards lateral that Marino threw, and no one knew it was a backwards lateral, and the whole offense just sat there and looked at the ball, and the Jags defense picked it up and ran it back, and we're just looking at the Dan Marino like, you idiot. Yeah, it was that type of thing that made Dan Marino's retirement awesome. Justin Coates says Todd Walsh. I probably said that. Been with the team forever. Yeah. Middle Legends, I'll give it to him. Urban is a true player's coach. Those guys would go to battle for him. He really values a positive culture, and I think that's what we've got here in Jags. Yeah, Moon, I agree 100%. I mean, that's what I always said about Urban is that he brings in – I did a show with UCF Jaguar a couple of days ago. I talked about how Urban is a culture guy. He comes in and immediately brings a culture mindset. I think that's why you're not going to see any coaches retained. I think that's why you're going to see things done a lot differently around here. How quickly did the players of the Jags just instantly – you saw some random behind dudes tweeting about it. Will Richardson ready to go to work. Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah, he's ready to go to work. It's about time. It only took you 3 years to ready to go back to work. Appreciate that, Will Richardson. Greg Jones used to lay fools out, says Al Cajones. Ben also says Greg Jones is one of the last great fullbacks in the league. The Kyle Usage dude is making a run. Matt says Chris Hewitt from the Ravens has been named possible DC candidate. Okay, I like that. I did hear that Urban was like going after like existing coordinators. So, hey, that word gets around quick, man. If you're a coach looking for a job, see, coaches know all the other coaches. Like, it's a very small community. People sometimes don't realize that. Coaches know other coaches. There's clinics there, that coaches speak at. There's special coaches, things that happen. Like, it's a very tight-knit community. If there's a job open, every single coach is letting the hiring coach know that they're available. It happens at the high school level, happens in the college level, and it sure as heck happens in the NFL level. Coaches know what jobs are out there, so he's going to have the pick that he wants. Urban's going to go out there and be like, he met with Shad. He figured out how much money he can give coordinators. It's probably going to be more than most teams, I would imagine. If they're giving the head coach more than most teams, then coordinators are probably getting it too. So he's probably feeling it out. And there's going to be a lot of rumors out there because of the sort of type of industry that coaching is, which is why we saw the whole Urban saga kind of take place the way it did. But it'll come out, and it'll be good. Gerald McKinnon said in that 1999 year, the Jags lost 3 games the entire season, including the playoffs, all 3 to the Titans. We don't ever talk about that year. No, that's a bad year. Philip Butcher says they will run through a brick wall for the guy. Grim Insanity. Grim Insanity saying, yo, that might be my cue to get out of here. If Grim Sanity's in here, that might be it. Ben says, do you think the Jags would have beat the Rams? Yes. The Rams would have beat the Rams in 99. The Jags would have beaten the Eagles in 2017. But sometimes the coin flips the wrong way, if you know what I mean. I appreciate you guys being here. I spilled my drink 30 minutes ago on my desk, and it's just sitting here taunting me like I gotta do something about it. I appreciate you guys being here. I'm gonna be doing another live show probably tomorrow or the next day. If you guys came over from UCF Jaguars channel, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. It's a great community. Jags fan. Jags community is great. Love you guys. Make sure you get the notifications because we do random shows and they're usually late at night. So get the notifications. That's the best I could do. Shout out to you guys for being here in the chat. You guys are awesome. Love talking to you guys. You guys are awesome. We will see you later. And as always, as we end every single show here,